Good afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity to come before all of you as an elected representative from local government to share how we are actually operationalizing your framework of a human rights county and the spirit of the human rights treaties, those both signed by my federal government and those that haven't. But I'm also here to ask for your help. Let me share a little context to give you a context of what LA County is. We are, as you've heard repeatedly, 10 million men, women, and children, similar in size to the country of Hungary. If we were a country, our GDP would be $1 trillion, similar in size to Switzerland. You've heard that we have 88 cities. We have 40 departments, and the county level of government is responsible for things like mental health, our public health system, our probation, our juvenile detention facility, as well as our jail. So the county level of government, we call in my country really the safety net level of government. So I'm proud of that. And I'm proud to say that as a county, we are in complete alignment with the Office of the High Commissioner's framework. I was proud to take a look at this framework that we were shared with yesterday at a meeting. And when I flipped through it, I realized that LA County is already prioritizing the same structures and tools that you referenced. Literally all of the local level framework suggestions that you've made, the county is doing. You talk about applying a human rights-based, participatory, transparent process for budgeting. We have a community-based budgeting where actual citizens can get involved in deciding how monies are allocated to their community, a $59 billion budget. We have local hire requirements. When you talk about launching a communication campaign and raising public awareness on human rights, LA versus hate that you heard Robin talk about. We have a whole initiative called our Anti-Racism, Diversity, and Inclusion Initiative, which allows us to talk about human rights issues in an integrated way. We don't sprinkle these issues on top, we bake them into the core infrastructure of the programs that we operate. Again, I mentioned our $52 billion budget and that we use a human rights priority lens in terms of how we choose to invest those dollars across all 5 districts and 10 million residents. And I operate in the district I representing about 2.5 million people, something called the Racial Justice Learning Exchange. It's a monthly dialogue where I organize constituents to have meaningful conversations about issues impacting racial justice across the county. So I'm glad to know that as a representative of local government that we're in alignment, but I'm here today also because apparently my federal government is not. And I will humbly add that they are also failing the American people. When I woke up to the LA Times on Saturday, this is what I read on the front page of the LA Times. Deportations are about to get more dangerous. Border Patrol is set to usher in new levels of terror. You heard my city councilwoman talk about what she's experienced in her district. I represent the vast majority of immigrants in LA County. 10 million people who come from 140 countries, who speak over 225 languages, and they are afraid to leave home, to go to work. There have been raids in schools. There have been raids in every corner of the county. And so these actions clearly represent human rights violations of a magnitude that must be taken seriously by all of us, by you, by all of us. When 42 million men, women, and children, the elderly and disabled, are willfully starved through the withholding of federal food aid, we have a moral and ethical crisis on our hands. When the state of California has to file close to 50 lawsuits against our very own federal government in an effort to protect our residents' constitutional rights that are being violated every day, we have a problem of big proportion. And when the president sends tanks into the streets and disappears people, people are taken from home, off the street, from their families, from schools, without any rights, being held without access to counsel. I believe we're in trouble, and it's going to take the world's eye and the world's voice to hold him accountable. I saw a quote recently by Reverend Dr. Bernice King, who was the youngest child of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And she says, it should not require experiencing an injustice to care about it. So I'm here to say that my colleagues and I in local government proudly answered the clarion call to defend and fight for human rights and dignity. And we're asking that you help us hold the United States federal government to the same standard. You know, the irony is my country will celebrate its 250th birthday next year. And we have a president who's planning a WWF wrestling match in the White House to celebrate. If it weren't pathetic and if I weren't living it, I could chuckle like you. I had the opportunity this morning of hearing the famed author Salman Rushdie very quickly on CNN when he talked about America's origin story and that it's about freedom and justice for all. That he talked about most countries are pluralistic and that there are many Americas, where the America that I fight for every day as an elected official is not an America that violates the constitutional rights of her citizenry. So I really hope that you all will stand with us, that we are answering the call as local government to stand up to bigotry, to hate, to racial profiling. And I certainly hope that you all will hold our federal government accountable in a way that only you can. Thank you for the opportunity.